Hello and welcome back to No Reservations. Kasey, Anton, myself, guide to restaurant success, or at least I hope so. And this episode we subtitle Beyond the Plate. So I am going to talk about additional revenue streams for restaurants because let's face it, cash is king. Cash flow is often tight with restaurants, and the more cash we can get in, and then control, of course, through profit first restaurants, but the more cash we can get in, the better. True for any business that has profitability already built in. And I have to say that because if you are a business that's not built to be profitable, then the last thing you want is more sales. Anyway, that is a separate topic for another day. But this topic, Beyond the Plate, we are going to discuss other ways that restaurants can bring in some cash, right? So what's the low-hanging fruit? What's the easiest one? Well, that would be merch, as the kids like to say, right? Merchandise. Pretty obvious. Easier said than done because you need to create merchandise that people actually would want to buy and then wear to make it worthwhile. So there's an investment there, not only an investment in just your overall branding so that your customers actually want to buy and wear the t-shirt, the apron, the hat, whatever it is. But then you also need to invest in good quality, which, by the way, we have a whole screen printer division here at Spark. So if you're looking for a great screen printer for something, come to us and we can refer you to one of our many screen printer clients who do great work. But anyway, here's the thing with that. I can already hear some of the listeners, some of the business owners, the restaurant owners chiming in thinking, oh, I tried that. I was selling the t-shirts that my servers wear and nobody buys them. It's a little bit more than that, right? You need to sell the merch that people actually want to buy, and why would they want to buy it? A place that does really good at doing this, a restaurant on Nantucket, is called Crew. And while I have no idea what their sales are in any capacity, I can tell by their branding, their marketing when it comes to the Crew apparel and they also sell, I think, beach blankets, towels, things like that, glasses. You can tell they're doing well. Again, I don't know that for a fact, but just judging off of where I see people wearing this or having these items, I mean, Crew has developed a brand for themselves, which sets them apart from pretty much anyone else. And they do a great job at it. So that would be a great model for you to look at if you're thinking, hey, I think people would like to wear, our merchandise. Well, take a look at what Crew, that's CRU, and is a well-known restaurant in Nantucket, and how well they do with the merchandise that they sell to their guests, both online and, of course, I am assuming they're at the restaurant, although I have not been in a very long time. But Nantucket is on my list for this summer. So that's one. That's pretty easy merchandise. Now, again, you need to already have the brand in place where people want to be associated with your brand, so they would want to wear the merchandise, and then you can do something really fun with that. The second one is kind of along the same lines, which is, of course, glassware, wine glasses, china. Though that's kind of reserved for the 11 Madison Parks of the world. For more the higher end, I mean, really, you're probably not going to sell a lot, but there's something to be said if someone wants to buy a dinner place or dinner setting for 4 or 8 from your restaurant because they love it so much, and they actually hold dinner parties where people would notice that. That's pretty rare. It's pretty elite, I would say, but it is something to think about. Along those lines, but maybe more for everybody else and hopefully for the listeners here, takeout, right? That's not going anywhere. Takeout supplies that are reusable. I did not invent this. I am sure I am not the first to mention it to you. I do think it often gets overlooked. To create, or at least to use in maybe 1 or 2 of your popular selling items that people get for takeout, to get something that is reusable at least a few times and branded to your restaurant. For example, there is a mid to higher end range restaurant that I often frequent here, where I live in the South Shore of Boston, and also get takeout from them. And I get the same they are reusable plastic, the black kind of plastic containers with the clear top. I'm sure you've seen them. They're rectangular. Sometimes they're circular, but those aren't as nice. The rectangular ones are tougher. Nowhere anywhere on there is it branded. Their nice paper bags are branded, and I do reuse those sometimes. But I mean, the minute water gets on them or any liquid, they're dead to you. So why this company doesn't at least start with stickers and then maybe look for some branding on these takeout containers and make them more reusable is kind of surprising to me. Now, a sticker is inexpensive if you buy enough. You can get them for 10 cents or less if you buy enough of them, right? And I'm sure you're saying, yeah, it's just going to wash off in the dishwasher. It probably will. I mean, you can buy probably some vinyl stickers that might last a little bit longer. I still think it's worth it to get your name and your brand on there over and over again. Because even if the next day a neighbor or someone comes over and notices it, that's branding that you want. But even going even a step further when it comes to takeout, I definitely think that you can really stand out by how you decide to package your items, and box them up, bag them up, whatever it is. I definitely think there is room there for so many restaurants to spend a little bit of time and a little bit of money on just that, because takeout is such a humongous part of our culture, more so than ever before. And I don't know exactly how you do it. I do know that there's Uline and many other companies out there that offer all kinds of takeout containers, and maybe you can find one unique enough that you can spend, again, probably a little bit more money, an investment, not even an expense, an investment that you make, and just see how it does. I definitely think there's room for growth in there for a lot of restaurants. So at least give that a shot, a well thought out branded shot on that. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention, which honestly I just thought of this morning, and I don't know if it would work, but it's cheap enough to try. So here's the thing. I am meeting with a lot of restaurants these days, which is great. I love talking to my restaurateurs, which is great. And one of the toughest line items, aside from their prime costs, is really the DoorDash costs, I'll say, because let's face it, it's pretty much DoorDash taking a lot of money off the top, but yet I can't get these companies to stop using DoorDash. And I'm not even saying I would necessarily want to, but just when they're giving 10, 12, 8, 11% off the top to DoorDash, and their food costs and their labor is not in line, that's just a loss all the way around, right? But DoorDash is like an evil necessity, right? You're not going to have a driver, most likely, for your restaurant. That wouldn't make sense. So I understand. I understand the full 360 view of this. And we as consumers are so used to having the convenience of delivery. I get it. So that's a separate issue with DoorDash, and hopefully those prices are going to come down in line. And hopefully you understand that when you're using DoorDash, you need to be running a better food cost, and you should probably be increasing your prices on the DoorDash app if you're not already. And hopefully you're doing all those things to mitigate some of the costs that they are. But here's my new idea. Now, I do know that a lot of restaurateurs may not even offer delivery still, and they just want you to come pick it up. And they're probably really pissed and banging their heads as, why can't I get these lazy consumers to come pick up? Well, I mean, you can't, because we're spoiled and we're used to it and everyone else is allowing delivery. So too bad, right? But what if you make it worth their while to pick it up instead of having it delivered? What if you gave your consumers that agree to come and pick up their dinner from you something extra, a very special thank you for coming to pick it up and not having it DoorDash delivered? Now, I'm not the first to think of this, because Domino's does that with that credit, that tip credit thing that they were doing. Like, they actually would take, like, they called it a credit, but it was actually like $1 or $2 off your pizza if you picked it up, right? They were doing that. I don't know if they're still doing that, but that was a big commercial they had for a while where they were giving you a few dollars off, you can pick it up. So it's along the same lines, but I don't want you to discount anything. I want you to think about, hey, here's my typical order from a customer. Maybe it's a $50 order. But by the time DoorDash takes its piece and whatever else goes on with DoorDash and the fees, it costs you maybe $10 to send out that $50 order. So instead, if you didn't use DoorDash and you were able to get that customer to come back, you have up to $10 to spend. Now, I wouldn't suggest you spend it all because otherwise just use DoorDash, right? But what if you took half of that and you took $5 and you gave them something extra? Maybe it is a dessert. So that's a $5 cost to you. That's a pretty decent dessert if it's a $5 cost. It could be a small bag of cookies or a brownie or one of your desserts, however you do it, that you give them that. They automatically get it. Maybe it's a mystery dessert, so they'll be kind of excited, like, oh, I'm ordering dinner, guys. You call your family, your kids, hey, I'm going to pick up dinner from Camilla's on my way home, and, we'll see what kind of dessert they give us today type thing. I just thought, that's a weird look on my face if you're watching this. I just thought of something. When McDonald's introduced the Happy Meal, oh my God, that's how old I am, right? There was always a surprise toy in the Happy Meal. Now, kind of going back 20 years, it tells you what the prize is, right? So now the kids are like, Mom, I want to go get Barbie out of my Happy Meal. In the beginning, it was like Cracker Jacks. Like, it was a surprise in there. And that won out for a long time. So what I'm saying is, why not bank on that part of humanity where we all kind of like fun surprises that way? And you create a surprise. You can do an entire marketing campaign about, hey, here's our new takeout menu. Maybe you make it sound like it's a completely separate menu created, even though it does not have to be. You could just kind of reword what you already offer. Definitely offer family style. And again, this is not something I see enough restaurants do, offering family style. Some do it, not enough. Whether you're a family of 2, 4, or 6, and then you could do a 6 and plus, right? But I'm a family of 4, let's say, and I just want to pick up and I want everything separate because kids are picky eaters. So I want my protein, and then I want my carb or my side, and then I want my whatever it is. I want it separate. So again, offering family style, and just say, you know what, and we're offering mystery surprise every time you come and pick up your family's dinner tonight. And it could be anything. Like, literally, you can leave it open-ended, and it could be anything. You say it's just a surprise they get, and gamify it for people. So that's my aha that I came up with this morning that I am sharing with you on this podcast to at least try it. This is a minimal, low money investment. Make it fun internally for your team. Make it fun in your marketing and branding. Try it. You don't have to do it forever, but try it and see how people like it. I think they will respond. I think word will get out. And I think this will really drum up some more business for you. And if you can get a lot more people to bring in takeout and save that DoorDash money, and then use that money to get some type of branded reusable takeout containers, then that's a whole other podcast episode we could talk about how you get people to bring the containers back or add to their collection, because now you're going to do drinks to go, which is a big topic here in Massachusetts. That just got approval by the state to be able to do that. So there are so many great things you can do in terms of marketing and branding, and then slowly but surely creating this repeat clientele, which is exactly what the most successful restaurants have, is just a repeat clientele they can count on over and over and over again to get them through the slower times or just any day of the week. Okay, so that is a wrap at just 14 minutes. I love to give these episodes in bite-sized pieces, and not too much, not too little, just enough to make you think on your ride to or from work or wherever you go, and maybe think about utilizing that. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, feedback at all, please like and share this app, and by all means get in touch with me and or my team here at Spark Business Consulting. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.